I got involved in this project, which is to restore the first production version of the Islander aircraft. The Islander has been the most successful civil aviation aircraft ever produced in the UK. Something like 1,300 have been delivered worldwide. This one was delivered back in 1968 to Aurigny, who still operate Trilanders to this day. What we want to achieve here is to restore the airplane to a very high standard. It will be a museum exhibit, not a flying aircraft. We've come an awful long way because the airplane was in a very poor state when we recovered it. Thanks to the efforts of a guy called Peter Graham, who was the founder of the Britten-Norman Aircraft Preservation Society, and he funded bringing the airplane back from Puerto Rico in pieces. And we embarked on the substantial task of restoration, and as you can see from the fuselage, we've come a long way. The instrument panel is being restored to the original configuration, and eventually, although we've got some element of the red on the nose now, it will be restored to the original colour scheme as delivered back in 1968.
We're just actually rubbing down the paintwork here, and when all this is smooth, and we will then use etch prime to put an undercoat on, and then the next stage will be to put the top coat on, which is the yellow bit, and that's always such an encouragement as well, because this is the hard work bit here.
And how long has it taken you to get to this stage?
Oh, about 4 to 5 years, but it's the aircraft was first recovered back in 2001. But it first of all it went back to Britten-Norman, the company, and it would hope that we could restore it then, but sadly that wasn't to be. So we then embarked on trying to find a suitable workshop, and that took some time, and eventually we found this workshop, 2010, 2011.
Well, this panel here, getting the paint off these rivets took me about an hour just to do that with a scraper and a wire brush. So it takes a long time, and we've done the whole of this side since Christmas. So we've worked really hard.
As you may be aware, anything to do with aviation is very highly regulated. So to have restored to a flying standard, we would have had to have become either an approved company or to have had the work done under the control of an approved company. And unless we could have found anybody, which was not possible, to have done that free of charge, the cost would just have been astronomical. We keep a log of what we've done, so if at some time in the future, we found some very, very wealthy benefactor, it would be possible to backtrack, but at the moment, no, it would just be as a museum exhibit, but as you can see, to a very high standard.
And we worked very strongly with the engineering drawings that Brian's produced, and if you look into the cockpit at the moment, you'll see all the instruments are now fitted, and that's an original instruments that were in the aircraft, or the equivalent of the instruments there. And all the lights are working, the circuit breakers are all fitted and connected, all the switches are fitted and connected, and when we put a power supply on, we'll be able to light up the instruments, and also at a future date, we're looking at possibly putting a PA system as well so people could listen.
I think it's important to mark the sort of heritage and the history. I mean, the company in this product has provided employment for a huge number of people over the years, and it's still in production today. So it has tremendous importance from that point of view. It's just touched a huge number of lives, not only in the local community now, but farther afield. I mean, I've given presentations on the history of the airplane in places like Gloucestershire and London and so forth, and I've been amazed at just how many people in the audience have said, oh, I was involved with it, or my dad was involved with it, or whatever. So it's a national issue as well as a local one.
So as well as bringing this old girl back to life, we hope that this will be the start of a bigger collection of Britten-Norman aircraft. The Solent is a rich place for aviation history. And fantastically, all those years ago, in East Cowes we saw the original flying boats being built, the back bolt. In the 1900s, people like Harry Hawker, Tom Sopwith, Elliot Vernon Rowe, all started producing aeroplanes and a range of flying boats here in the Solent. Wouldn't it be wonderful if we could make this aeroplane part of a bigger collection of aviation heritage that shows the Solent area for what it really is, the start of a lot of aviation heritage, which is so important to this country. So the 50th anniversary of the first flight of this wonderful aeroplane, not this particular one, but the original prototype aeroplane, will take place at Bembridge Airport on the 13th of June this year. And we've got a whole programme of activities which hopefully we will be able to ensure that a lot of people will see the success of this particular aeroplane.